Pretty good. And yourself?
It's going all right.
Going all right?
Yeah, it's going all right.
I'm just hanging over here with my good buddy Bob Ross. He's this is a young Bob Ross. He doesn't have the fully developed afro just yet. I'm hopeful that once he ranks up a few more times, I'll be able to get his hair a little closer to where it should be. But in the meantime, we do have the official Bob Ross voice pack downloaded.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Give that a few seconds and you should start hearing that on the stream.
Shoot, let's get crazy.
Actually, the sad thing is that I can't hear it because I have to turn the volume down on my TV.
Now comes the fun.
I actually might not bring Bob out on the mission just yet because he's very low ranked.
He just ain't ready.
I'm not sure I want to babysit him right now, but I got a couple of wounded characters, so maybe I will. I hear you've been playing a little bit of that Devil Daggers. How's that treating you?
It's all right. It's really hard. I tried to stream it. It's also hard to stream, I guess.
Oops.
Because all I captured was about 35 minutes of my face.
Was it terrifying?
Laid over the title screen.
Truly haunting imagery.
Yeah, I didn't realize it because I was playing it full screen, and Coffee was yelling at me in the chat, but it just wasn't working for whatever reason. I guess maybe that's a game that you can't do. You can't. You might have to pick like game output or whatever. I didn't have the right settings and OBS, so.
That's why it's dangerous to fly solo.
Yeah, I guess so. I could have just looked. I really didn't care that much. I thought that Kurt was gonna come and play the Division beta with me, but he never showed up, and then I ended up spending like 2.5 hours on Skype with our friend Anthony Rogers trying to help him put his PC together. But
nice. Well, you'll be doing that with me in a couple days, maybe.
Well, you didn't get your stuff yet?
Well, my parts are all at the Purelator office. Waiting for me to pick them up. Fucking Purelator. God, I wish they would have just shipped them by Canada Post.
I don't know what that is. What is it? What's a Purelator? Other than it is a brand of oil filter here in the United States.
Is this not a thing that exists in the United States? It's just a shipping company.
Okay.
Like you got UPS, FedEx, and Purelator are kind of the big three.
Okay.
And they're big. Like I didn't think it was a niche thing. Maybe you don't have them
not in the United States.
In New York or something. I'm pretty sure they exist in the United States. I mean, I think one of the reasons why I'm getting stuff shipped by them is because I'm ordering from New Lake, Canada, but they source a lot of their parts in the States, so I think my motherboard is coming from the US.
Huh.
Anyway.
No, I've heard of it. We have BHL. That's like the third.
Yeah. I've seen those trucks.
That's like the third biggest one here in the United States, aside from just the post office. Yeah, Purelator, Canada's shipping company for courier and something.
Huh. Well, okay. Well, they're real big here, but the problem with them is that, like most of these shipping companies, they try to deliver your home when you're not there because it's the middle of the day and you're at work like a normal person. And then when they can't deliver there, they drop it off at their facility, which is in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's like a 25-minute drive from where I live to get there. And if I didn't have a car, I don't know what I would do. So I convinced them to drop it off at a store that's kind of more central in town, and VLN's gonna go and pick that stuff up for me tomorrow.
That's pretty cool.
My dad's coming in on the weekend, and so if I'm having trouble, he'll actually be able to help me out because he's pretty good at building PCs.
Yeah, you've done it before, so you should be pretty good.
I've done it before once. I mean, so before building, so the PC that I'm currently playing on is my gaming PC, which I did build with the help of one of my coworkers. Before building this one, I'd only ever kind of putzed around with like changing hard drives and installing RAM and putting in video cards and things. So I'd never messed around with installing processors and motherboards and like all the wiring that you have to do. Looks like we're in trouble here.
It's mostly foolproof as long as you take your time. The hardest part, actually, the thing that took me and Anthony like 5 hours.
We're going to slow them down. We'll need
before.
to move fast.
And we had it mostly together about 3.5 hours in, and then we couldn't get it to post. And it turned out that it was just that we didn't have most everything just snaps in. Like there's a place on the motherboard and you pop it in. Fan goes here, your CPU goes here.
Your LEDs for your power light and your hard drive.
But that's actually the thing that's the most difficult, is because all that stuff goes in the same set of pins on the motherboard, and he didn't have his motherboard didn't come with a book, so we had to look it up and find a PDF online, and he kind of just guessed based on what the wires said and what it
shapes
said
of the
on the
wires.
motherboard. Yeah, and he got it wrong, so
That
then we
didn't
had
go so
to
good
take
for
it
him.
apart and then start over again. And it turned out we just didn't have the switch on the right pins, but
Well,
figure that
I
out.
will need your help because I'm pretty sure I bought the same motherboard you did.
yeah.
On your
Well,
suggestion.
I probably still have the link to the PDF instruction manual. It's like 10 megabytes. You should download that, and then it has the key in it, and it's super easy. It just doesn't. They just don't bother to print one and put it in the box anymore. It's like,
Right.
yeah.
Doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Yeah, it seems like most things are that way these days. So we got a new refrigerator back in August of last year, and the same thing, that didn't come with an instruction manual. I had to go to their website and print it out. Everybody's saving those 23 cents on printing
That's right.
costs.
The six-page black and white laser printer booklet and 2 staples.
So that way the refrigerator was, I don't know, like $1,300, or like it was like $1,298.73, and then they passed that 25 cents to save $1,000.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
I can use that 25 cents.
right, to pay for the paper that you
Used to
have
print
to
it.
print the fucking thing out. Yeah.
Nah, I'll do that at work.
Position for
That's
deployment.
right, there you go. That's the perks. But yeah, so for the most part, it was pretty good. I guess, and then he was trying to install Windows 7 on it, which with the new Skylake architecture doesn't like, for whatever reason, making a USB boot thing, the USB boot stick and plugging it in, the Skylake
tricky.
USB ports won't recognize Windows 7.
Is this because he didn't have a DVD drive, or?
He didn't buy a CD drive, no. But they're like, I told them basically that if he didn't need one, if he didn't want one.
Right.
But they're only like $15, so I probably shouldn't have bought it. But I never would have guessed that making a boot
Target coordinates
USB
are
stick
locked in.
wouldn't have worked.
Move to
with the
designated
new
position and
USB
place
ports,
the
'cause that
X4
seems like
charges.
ridiculous, but it's just some sort of weird driver incompatibility bullshit.
Well, I'm also getting a Skylake processor, so I look forward to stuff like that. But I will have a DVD drive because I'm going to be tearing down my old Office PC gradually to build stuff.
You should be all set.
Actually, my first step is going to be migrating the PC that I'm playing this on to Windows 10 and sticking that on the new SSD that I just bought. Because this is currently running on a really small SSD, which is just barely big enough for the operating system and not much else. So I've got a 480 gig, which I'm hoping will be plenty to actually stick some games on. But that means I need to migrate my operating system over, and then I want to do a clean install of Windows 10 on top of that.
Cool. Seems like a good idea.
And then I'm going to take the small SSD, and I'm going to install my Windows 7 on that for the new computer.
Are you going to upgrade that to 10 or?
Well, okay, so I'm kind of cheating here. Technically speaking, it is the same Windows install. I'm just assuming that because it's been so long since I installed it raw, like I think it's probably...
It depends on which version of Windows you bought. So there's like a OEM version, which you only get one
OEM.
install, or if you pay the extra $10 or $20 or whatever, you should have like 3 installs or something. You're probably okay as long as you don't have an OEM version.
I paid way more than $10 or $20 extra, and I got presumably unlimited installs.
Okay.
Now, in theory, only one at a time.
Oh, really? I thought it was 3 at a time. It probably is different. Because I bought Windows 8, and they said I could have 3 like simultaneous installs or whatever.
Well, that would kind of explain things. Well, we'll see. Man, I got problems here. I got this heavy who is technically flanked by these guys, I think. I don't know if that's going to blow my cover next turn. Although, I guess to be fair, these guys are kind of wussy, so it doesn't really matter that much. But
look them up.
It would be a real drag if I blew my cover on the first turn of this mission, which is going to be a long mission.
I don't remember the good old days, Windows XP, where you just had one code and you used it infinitely for infinite installs because there was no online verification.
I never actually owned a Windows XP, but I certainly had my share of bootleg Windows XP installer disks, and I did use them multiple times.
Ours came with a Dell that we bought, and then that was on... I'd probably use that. I put it on my friends' PCs, and it was on like my uncle's. I don't know. I probably used that thing a dozen times.
And you had like the serial code so that you could do clean installs?
It was just a sticker on the back of the PC.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Because all those pre-built PCs usually had a whole bunch of garbage OEM sort of software on them that you didn't want to have.
Yep, especially Dell's.
Yes.
I think I may have just like the day we got it. I think I just like put a fresh install on top of it, so I didn't have to even bother trying to get rid of any of that shit.
Mm-hmm. I am a firm believer in the fresh install of Windows. I mean, it's not nearly as important as it used to be. I think since Vista, you could generally get away with keeping the same install of Windows on for years at a time. But like back when I was running Windows like 98, for example, I used to have to reinstall like every 6 months, or the computer would just become a big piece of garbage.
Yep, I was just gonna say, yeah, we had a 98 machine that was like that. That just, it was for the first year and a half, it was okay. But then once we finally got like normal internet, basically. Like, we didn't have internet for the first couple of years. We had that PC, and then once we got internet, I ended up just, like, totally...
a lot of bad stuff started
abandoning those old installs and just doing it, like, once a year.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be very handy with, like, disk imaging software and stuff like that, so I had my clean install on a disk image, and it would take me literally, like, 20 minutes to refresh.
Yeah.
But I don't need to do it anymore, so I'm not quite as good at it as I used to be. I can't say that I really mind.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff just doesn't even work as well in Windows 10, like daemon tools and all that shit just doesn't.
Daemon tools, yeah.
Yeah.
Not those virtual drives.
I was trying to play something recently that I had to install a virtual CD drive on my machine, and yeah, like daemon tools just doesn't work in Windows 10, so there was something else that has a picture of a sheep, I think. I can't remember what it's called, but it it wasn't the same, man. It just wasn't the same.
No. Alright, I gotta start planning my ambush here. But all those guys just wandered out of range. Huh.
They're setting up an ambush for you.
I don't think they're doing a very good job of it. I have a battle scanner I could toss down there, but that seems like kind of a waste at this point. Well, actually, I'll move a couple guys down to scout ahead. Heavy over here is going to hop on down. So this is my second campaign. I finished my first campaign of XCOM 2.
Was it successful?
Save the world. It was, except for the moral failing, which is that I had to load the game one time because my entire party got wiped, and I don't think there's any way that I could have come back from that where I was at the time.
So you cheated your way.
So I cheated my way by
fucking cheating ass Canadians.
By using the built-in save load feature to load my game one time in a 30-hour campaign.
Scumming, cheating ass motherfucker.
Well, that is how I feel, actually. I felt really shitty about that. So now I'm trying it again on Iron Man, which is probably a bad idea, because as far as I'm aware, this game is probably too buggy to be played in a mode that saves automatically every time you do anything.
But I feel like if you have Iron Man on your team, you can kill aliens a lot easier.
Yeah, it would be good, but
better if you had the Colossus,
reactor, so
Colossus Man mode. You'd be even better.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of mutons down here and a snake man, and we got a couple of soldier guys.
Are they just called snake mans?
They're,
or do they have an alien, cool alien?
I think they're called vipers.
Okay.
So no, they don't have a cool alien name.
Yeah.
I can find out for sure if I target here.
What are the mind controlling guys called?
Sectoids.
Yeah, there's so many cool alien names. I'm surprised.
Sectoids are all scary and buff in this version of the game. Alright, so I can nuke these guys. That's pretty good. Alright, so we're going to get our snipers on Overwatch, I think. And then we're going to drop a grenade in on those guys, and then we'll leave the rest of the squad to mop up. You want to have a couple of people with free actions left, because sometimes you get surprises when you try and set off these ambushes. Things don't always go the way you're thinking they're going to.
So what's going on with you, Joe?
Are your dice devilish? Your knives, sorry, your daggers?
No,
Devil Dice is a very different thing.
Devil Dice is a way different game. I saw a thing about Devil Daggers yesterday, and now I have not picked it up or played it yet, but it's on my list.
It is $5.
I know.
I tell you, it's worth even if you only play it for an hour. It's totally worth it.
It's not the money; it's the time. It's
Oh man, but you just one run, if you're lucky, is like a minute. It's just like, and I can't play it for more than 10-ish minutes because it's so intense and so fast. It's a game that has me uncharacteristically like dodging in front of my computer monitor as things
like
chase me down from because the sound design is just so fucking good in that game that there's everything. And the positional audio is really good, so it's like when things are coming from behind you, you fucking hear them, and so you like turn around at the last second, and then a skull bashes your character in the face, and it's like I'm like jumping out of the way, trying to dodge it with my physical body.
It is one hit kill, right? Like one hit and you're.
I was gonna say that's the thing I didn't get. Is it is one hit kill.
One hit kill, yeah. It's basically, I mean, to me, playing it feels a lot like playing Geometry Wars. So it's like whatever first-person shooter.
First-person Geometry Wars.
It plays just like Quake, basically. Even the way that the screen leans and the way that if you move on a diagonal, you go faster than if you're going forward or straight.
Oh wow, that's nuts.
And it also has bunny hopping, so if you're hopping and going diagonal, you will pick up speed just like you would if you were playing Quake. The thing is that the arena is not that big, so like 3 diagonal bunny hops will basically take you all the way across.
Take you off the edge of the world.
And if you go too far, you fall and die. Yeah, if you go too far, you fall. So you have to have that spatial awareness at all times, and then like basically like the first thing that comes in is like a bone tower thing that comes and spits a bunch of skulls up into the air, and then you have to those skulls will relentlessly pursue you, and they're just a little bit faster than you are, but it takes them a long time to turn. So you end up just like in Geometry Wars with these huge clouds of skulls sort of following you around.
Oh yes, I remember all the skulls in Geometry Wars.
Well, in Geometry Wars, they were geometrical shapes, but they could have been skulls. You don't know. If you'd been able to view them in a 3D plane or in a 3D space, they may have been skulls.
So is it that you have one weapon, but it has an alternate fire, right? There's like a shotgun and a machine gun fire, and that's it?
Hold down, there is no right mouse button anything in that game. It's just left.
That seems
left
like
mouse.
A weird choice.
You hold it down, you get a stream of daggers. You tap it for like a shotgun blast. If you shoot at the ground, you can rocket jump, and there's also splash damage. If you like shotgun blast the ground, there'll be like splash damage that comes up. I don't know if that's useful. I haven't found.
And you can win, right? There is an end.
Supposedly there's an end state. Nobody has made it as far as I know. But
moving out.
Okay. Yeah, I watched the video of the guy who's on top of leaderboards now or yesterday. And the best run so far is he lasts like 4.5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. So supposedly there's 13 enemies, and I think the most that we've seen is like 9 or 10. So there's at least a couple more things that pop up.
Yeah, I watched the video of the guy who made it to like minute number 9. I think maybe back before they'd made some update to the game that changed things, but it wasn't super obvious to me just how hard it was at first. Like, I just saw a guy running around just shooting a bunch of stuff, and then to find out that for the average player, like surviving a minute is pretty hard.
My best is 70 seconds, I think. And I'm
like a number that I'm hearing a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, so as you're killing things, certain of the larger enemies, not the little skulls, but like the towers that spawn things, or there's these big skulls that are kind of like boos in Super Mario World, so when you look at them, they run away from you. But when your back is turned, they chase after you, and then there's some even bigger skulls that with like ram horns that will chase you way faster than you are and will kill you really quickly. So it's like a thing of, you have to learn all the enemy behaviors and everything. But anyway, if you collect 10 of those gems, you get a upgrade to your gun, so you shoot like multiple daggers at once, or your shotgun blast is even bigger. And I guess there's like more upgrades beyond that, but I have no hope that I'll ever get that far.
Stick with it, man. Just keep at it.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see myself playing this even as much as I played Downwell, just because everything. So it's like everything is very tightly scripted. Like, the first enemy is going to be one of those bone towers, and all the enemies will spawn at certain times going forward. So every run is kind of the same. And also, like I said, it's just so intense, and the sound design is so good, and so like right up like I said, when you those things are chasing you, it feels like you're being chased, and it's very uncomfortable. And playing that game for more than like 15 or 20 minutes at a time. It
sounds stressful.
I don't like it. Yeah. And the enemy design is really good. Like I wish that the stuff in the new Doom looked like that instead of stuff in the new Doom, which I think is kind of...
Well, the stuff in the new Doom looks a lot like stuff in the old Doom, except it's in 3D now instead of...
Yeah. Well, some of the stuff in this game looks like Doom enemies, but it's just a little bit more subtle.
The game looks a lot like Quake, just sort of in general, I thought, from what I saw of it. But yeah, for $5, it's definitely something I'm into. I got Street Fighter V in the mail from GameFly the day before MagFest, and I haven't even put it in my PS4 yet.
I was going to ask if you'd tried it yet. I talked to Coffee, like he was trying to help me while I was helping Anthony put his computer together, and just listening to him talk about how frustrating that game has been, like the problems with the servers and just the fact that it just isn't finished in a lot of ways, you know. So
yeah,
it sounds pretty bare bones.
Yeah, and that's sort of frustrating. And again, I didn't buy it; I rented it, so we'll see how I feel about it. And I guess they're dropping a free DLC in like
March, I think. End of March, something like that.
End of March, early April, or something. They're dropping a free DLC pack that adds arcade mode because that's not in there, which I find very strange.
Well, they currently have lobbies, but it's only 2 people, so it's fucking useless basically as an online multiplayer experience unless you just want to play 1v1 matches.
Right. Well, also the problem is I don't have PlayStation Plus, so if there's not a single-player arcade mode, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm not even.
You can play this. There's not even a story mode. Yeah, there's just nothing. Right. Well, there is. There is a very bare bones story mode that plays out comic panel style, where but each one of those is only like 3 to 5 fights long, and there's no boss characters or anything, so it just seems kind of.
I've actually heard that a lot of them are like 2 fights long.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's kind of nothing there.
My cup runneth over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, I rented it, so we'll see. But I apologize if I clear my throat a lot during this stream. I apologize if that's annoying. But I got con flu at MagFest, so
yeah. So how was
which
MagFest?
Actually is MagFest was great, man. I mean, MagFest is 4 days. I went 2 days because the deal with MagFest is that they only sell. Right? Yeah, there's concerts every day and every night, and there's like several like venues for concerts. But until the show starts, they only sell 4-day passes. So it's not like the PAX East bullshit where like, all the 3-day passes sold out immediately. So now you have to buy individual day passes for more money. It's basically the opposite of that. They only sell 4-day passes until the day of the show, and if you buy them before the end of January, it's like $70 for the 4-day pass, and then like when individual days go on sale, it's like $40 a day. So it's like if you're going to go more than 1 day, you should just get the pass, like while it's cheap.
Right.
So
of course,
I got the 4-day
to be fair
pass.
to the PAX people, all those passes sell out in a week anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, so it was good. It was nice. I saw some people that I hadn't seen since either Too Many Games or since last year's MagFest, which was nice. I played some games. I played in a tournament and did relatively well. I didn't win. So it's called the Retro Gaming Gauntlet. So it's like a series of challenges, and like the first thing was knock out Glass Joe as fast as you can. And then the second thing was...
Should be like 2 seconds if you do it right.
So the fastest he can be knocked out apparently is 41 seconds.
Oh, right. He doesn't have a trick, right? I'm thinking of the guy in Super Punch-Out.
Yeah, Gaddy J. Glass Joe, you can pummel him, and then the first time he does his special punch is an automatic knockdown. And if you get it on like the exact correct frame, he stays down for the 10 count. So that's like the fastest you can be in, but like...
And even if he gets up, you're just one super punch from keeping him down.
Right. So, but here's the weird thing. There was like a handful of people. It was if you didn't knock him out in the first round, like you got skunked.
Yeah.
Right. So, there were people who didn't knock him out in the first round, and I'm like, how? Like,
you could all you have to do is hold up and hit A over and over and over again. You'll probably hit him.
That's actually what I normally do when I play that fight. to just punch non-stop until he falls down.
You can run out of hearts if you don't vary between gut shots and face shots, but then you just dodge one of his punches and you're right back in it.
Yeah.
But so that was the first thing. The second thing was the fly catching mini game in Karate Kid for NES, and catch as many flies as you can.
Okay.
I caught all 6, and they say man who can catch fly with chopsticks can do anything. So, and then
Like legally?
Yeah.
That's for the record. That's a pretty bad game, but
It is. It's a really big game. That bonus game actually plays surprisingly well. Like it's very simple. Like all the side-scrolling stuff is bullshit, but that little bonus game is actually not that bad. Because the flies move in semi-predictable patterns, and like all you do is move Daniel left and right and up and down, move the chopsticks, and the A button pinches the chopsticks. And it's pretty generous about like how close the fly has to be to actually catch it. But yeah, for the most part, that game is ass. Then it was, I think after that it was get as high a score in Gunstar Heroes as you can before the first boss encounter, which encouraged score leeching. Oh, and it was on the highest difficulty.
yeah, I don't like score challenges in that kind of game because that kind of does sort of encourage you to just hang out in a place and.
Right, that's exactly like the people who did the best at that one just like stood in a place. But the thing that I liked was the guy who was running it was like, if you die, there's a major score penalty for dying. So you kind of had, since it was on the hardest difficulty, you had to kind of balance like, okay, like do I just go to the part where the challenge is over, or do I keep trying to reach score, knowing that if I die, I basically lose all my points.
Yeah.
So
risk reward.
I don't know. I've always hated like Spelunky does that with the daily challenge, where it's all score based. So everybody to like make it high on the leaderboards, you have to ghost mine, which basically means you have to wait every level until the ghost shows up. Because when the ghost touches gems, they turn into diamonds. So you have to like blow up all the rocks in the level, and then have the ghost come and have him change all the gems into diamonds, and then collect those and finish the level. So it means like. To score well in the daily challenges, you have to waste a ton of fucking time.
You really got to drag it out.
Yeah.
See,
I've always
like
wished that there was a more significant like bonus or for time or something that tracked time for those or something, because it would make it a little bit more fun. But
yeah. So then the fourth thing was, speaking of Spelunky,
Not a problem.
you had to play NES Spelunker
You're near the target position.
on the
Okay.
second loop and
All
get
right.
as many points as you can in 3 lives. Which I actually did really well on, because that game is
Menace 1-5,
ridiculous.
status confirmed. X4
You can't
charges
fall
are
more than
armed.
like
Move to
3
the extraction
pixels without
point
your
for
dude
immediate
dying.
evac.
And the controls are kind of bullshitty. I actually don't think the game is as bad as a lot of people. Like, it's super hard, but it's not like bad in the same way that Karate Kid, for example, is bad. Like, it's just the rules are very weird and not what you expect, and so like if you don't know what they are, you can get fucked. And then that was where I got eliminated though, so I did pretty well on that, but not well enough. And my Glass Joe time was not. It was good, but it wasn't as like some people got him in 41 or 42 seconds, and I didn't. So like but the last challenge was I can't remember what the fuck. Oh, it was Crazy Taxi. It was something in Crazy Taxi.
make some crazy money.
So yeah, obviously. So that was fun, and I didn't really go to any of the concerts just because none of the bands really like lit my fire. Like there were some bands that I saw like in the jam spaces as I was kind of like walking by, and I'd stop and be like, oh, I dig this. I'll listen to this for a minute. But it wasn't like, oh man, I really need to go see Vomitron, so I'm gonna go do that. Like,
I'm not familiar with their oeuvre.
it's like metal covers of like Nintendo songs.
Pass.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm pretty much. Yeah, like I would love to go see like what's the name of the woman that does the Game Boy chiptune stuff? Like there's people that actually use Chipsel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she just won an award. Like there's people that like make interesting music with that technology, and that would be fun to see. But like bands that do covers.
So
of old
they
music,
do
that's
have an entire like stage /room dedicated just to that.
I'm not even against covers. It's just that the heavy metal video game covers such well-trod territory.
It's so played out at this point.
I would go see the mini bosses, I guess.
I would go see the mini bosses.
I would go. What's the name of that band where they do speed runs of the game while they play the music?
Oh, those. I think the Bit Brigade. They were there.
I would go see them.
I don't know. I'm looking at this list of performers and I recognize them.
Guys, I just want to say for the record that I fucking demolished this mission.
If Perturbator ever shows up there...
Oh, I would go see Perturbator. I would go see Perturbator wherever he was if it was in, like, reasonable driving distance.
I was going to say, yeah, he's from France, right?
Not France.
Not France, yeah.
I'll be in France this summer. I can...
But check it out, yeah. He's got a new album coming out, so...
Does he? His last album was really good. I liked it a lot. There was one person, there's a girl named Panda Star who does, like, I think she uses just 2 Game Boys. And I saw her at a chiptune, like, thing in Milwaukee a few years ago, and she was at MagFest this year, but it was at, like, one of the, like, chip rave things. It was, like, at, like, 2 in the morning, and I was like, I'm not hanging for that.
Chipsil was there playing at 2 o'clock, 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. on the 21st. On Sunday night. That's pretty inconvenient, especially if you say have to go to work.
So if that was Saturday night into Sunday morning, I was at a different thing, and if that was Sunday night into Monday morning, I didn't know.
And that's what you've shown them, Commander. Well done.
They did a thing. They have a whole, like, it's not really a movie theater, but they have a room that they put a movie screen in, and they sort of treat it like a movie theater. And they just show different movies. And there was a thing on Saturday night called there's something about Grindhouse, and it was basically a bunch of, like, shorts and fake trailers that people had made that, like, were related to games. Like, there was one called Catch 'Em All, Kill 'Em All, which is a fake trailer for a movie about, like, a rogue Jigglypuff that starts just murdering people.
Okay.
That was a pretty fun trailer. And then there was one for a fake movie called I forgot what it was. It was called, like, Geeks, Guns, Girls, and Ghosts, and it was about I don't know if you were familiar with the urban legend of Polybius.
Oh, that crazy arcade game.
Yeah, it was based around that, and it was again a fake trailer, and the Dream Phone episode of Board James, which is like the Angry Video Game Nerds show about board games, and the Dream Phone episode is actually really good. It's one of my favorite things he's done. It's like him and his friends play Dream Phone, and then when his friends leave, the phone rings, and, like, there's a person on it, and it's like Scream, except it's like this pink plastic Dream Phone that is like, and then his
filled with
friends
hunky boys.
Yeah. I like it a lot, actually. So that was fun to see on a big screen. That stuff was fun, and I went to a panel. Nintendo World Report had a panel called Nintendo Double Dare, where they pulled people up from the audience and they did, like, a Nintendo-themed version of Double Dare, and instead of physical challenges, you had to play, like, old Nintendo games. And the obstacle course at the end was...
If there was no climbing around inside of a swimming pool full of slime, well, a giant nose, like, shot slime out of it.
Shot slime at you.
You're not into it?
Yeah.
No, but I was actually just going to say that the obstacle course was a Mario Maker level that the guy had made to resemble the Double Dare obstacle course, and it was actually a pretty on-point Mario Maker level. Yeah, that was fun. And and in between, like, rounds and stuff, they had fake commercial breaks, which were the guy had just, like, compiled commercials from the 80s and 90s and just, like, showed them while they set up the next thing. And that was pretty fun too, just because it was like, and not even just like, I thought they were just gonna go, like, for the easy, the easy pop and go with, like, video game commercials, but no, it was like there was, like, the Sally Struthers correspondence school commercial.
Oh, nice.
And, like, the Muzzy, like, learn to speak French with this cartoon thing, commercial, and, like, stuff like that. So yeah, it was a good time, and I bought a painting from Square Painter of Kunio.
Hostile forces are attacking
Square Painter is from
Eliminate
Kunio?
all enemy units and protect those civilians.
I've never heard of Square Painter before.
He's a dude who does, like, pixel art portraits, for lack of a better way of putting it. And he does, like, videos of him, like, painting them, I guess, and, like, talking about the games. And so it was like $20, and it's just a picture of Kunio. Well, I guess Ryan from River City Ransom doing a jump kick.
Okay.
So that was
Sounds
neat.
pretty
And
sweet.
I picked up a reproduction cart of Retro Game Challenge 2.
Got eyes on Advent Troop.
The patched version.
Yeah, the patch version.
I was
Which,
gonna say,
which our buddy Ray Barnholt worked on.
I was just gonna say, yeah, Ray would be excited.
I'm kind of excited to hear that. I have the Japanese version, but of course, as soon as I got to the visual novel, it was like, all right, well, done.
Just gonna randomly poke at this thing and.
So you only got like 2 games in, right? That's like the 3rd game, I think.
Yeah.
I just passed it.
I got a few games in.
I just
think it is
passed
the 3rd
that
one. Yeah.
I feel like it's the 3rd or maybe the 4th. But yeah. And then like you can go to the game store and they have like alternate versions of the games from the first Retro Game Challenge game store. But yeah, I actually really dig that so far. Like I'd sort of forgotten how much I liked Retro Game Challenge, and now playing Retro Game Challenge 2, I'm like, oh yeah,
They're really sweet.
Yeah, really well done. I heard the 3rd one is kind of shitty though, because it's a different developer.
Yes, I have heard similar things about it. Yeah, I really do want. I mean, I actually have the stuff that I would need to download and patch a ROM, Game Center CX2 to make it in English, but I've never done it. I have been wanting to do that for a long time.
You should.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So Magfest was cool, and a couple people recognize me, which is always like a nice ego boost, right? You just have like a random person be like, "Hey, you do that thing on YouTube that I watch," and you go, "Yeah, I guess I do. Thank you for watching." So
that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Speaking of that thing on YouTube that I do, tomorrow is the 5th anniversary of me posting the first episode of Same Name Different Game on the site.
Is that a fact?
That is a fact.
What was was it Salamander?
Salamander, yeah.
Very first episode.
Very
See,
first
I know
episode.
things about saying in a different game.
Yeah. Good job, Mike.
Jinx.
Esto es para ti.
Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds pretty fun. Was there anything else?
No, not about no.
There's just not like that's mostly about the music for the most part, right?
A lot of it's about the music. Yeah,
it's music, man.
I mean, it's about the music. I hung out in the arcade and I played the Bishibashi in the arcade.
That sounds definitive.
Yeah, well,
Not
so
a Bishibashi.
The Bishibashi, yeah. It's the last one they made, I think. Are you guys familiar with the Bishibashi series at all?
Not even a bit.
It's sort of like WarioWare. It's sort of like the precursor to WarioWare. It was a Konami arcade game, and there's 1 or 2 on PlayStation, but not in America, of course, because it's just so wacky in Japanese. But the controls are all based on like 3 big, bright-colored buttons.
Okay.
And it's just
like a simpler version of
pop
the music for babies.
No, because it's not a rhythm. It's not necessarily a rhythm game, right? Like some of them, it's hard to explain. You should just look for a video online when you have time for Bishibashi and check it out. It's very similar to WarioWare, but the games are longer than WarioWare. Not that that's saying much, but it's that kind of like manic mini game fest, and just all the mini games have pretty simple controls. But it's super weird, and I never played this version because it came out in like 2009 or 2010. It's the last one they did, but they had all kinds of stuff in the arcade there. So a friend of mine and I played that for a little while. It's so bizarre, super fun and manic, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, they're mostly just hanging out and doing like a little shopping, but not much because the marketplace there isn't very big. So yeah.
How the prices?
In the marketplace?
I've heard NES prices are kind of sick right now, and the Super Nintendo is going the same way.
I mean, I would say that, in general, I can tell you in general, just because I buy a lot of old games, even when I'm not at a convention, but like, NES has kind of hit like a sort of equilibrium. Like, I don't feel like NES is on the rise as much anymore. The Genesis and Super Nintendo have like spun out of control in the last couple of years. It's really weird to see things that you paid very little money for, and like I was telling our friend Adrian Sandoval, who he's a Talking Time person, or was. He's a game developer as well. He makes games, yeah. Yeah, I hung out with him and his lady friend a bit, and we were talking about it. Like, you know, like my copy of Castlevania Bloodlines, I think I paid $12 or $15 for. Definitely not more than 15. It has the manual and the box and everything, which like is not a thing that I seek out. It's just like if it has it and it's a reasonable price, I'll pay it.
Then great.
But usually I'm willing to like save the money by not having those things.
Yeah.
But it was $12, you know, and this was I mean, we're going back probably maybe 5 or 6 years, but that's not that long in the grand scheme of things. And I saw a copy at MagFest that someone had a box manual and they wanted like 100 and something, I want to say, for it.
Goddamn.
Like literally like 10 times what I paid for it.
Adjusting aim.
You know,
Yeah.
and like Splatterhouse 2, I bought from like a mom and pop shop when I lived in Milwaukee. Again, box manual, $5
Hostile
I paid for
terminated.
that game. And you know, when you see one, it's like 80 to 100, depending on if it has the box and manual and stuff. It's just like it's totally nuts. You know, it's hard to justify.
But do you think people are paying those prices, or are they just kind of like, are they hoping that some sucker's going to come and actually be willing to spend that much? Because I remember going to this game shop in Montreal in like 2007 or something like that, and they had, I think it was Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on PS2, and they were selling it for $100. I'm like, that's not a super rare game. Like
Yeah,
they had like cart-only copies of Final Fantasy 2 at Super Nintendo for like $80. I'm like, dude, I could get that for $20 on eBay right now. And I just wonder if that's like the Amazon seller's approach of like maybe someone will fall for it.
Well, I mean, I think they also expect you to haggle a certain amount. Like usually, like when I only bought a handful of games. So you know, like I bought 3 Famicom games from this one dude, and granted, he's a dude that I've known for a long time because he used to come to the Midwest Gaming Classic. Like most of my import games, definitely most of my Famicom games are from him, like over the years. Excuse me, but you know, it's like all this stuff is marked as such and such, and I'm just like, hey, dude, like I'll give you X for like these 3 games, you know. So I think they expect a certain amount of haggling, so they price up, expecting that they're going to be talked down. I think is it, but like, I mean, at this point, I'm gonna look at Final Fantasy 2 on eBay, and I'm
I
gonna
just
bet
looked up
you're not.
Castlevania Bloodlines is 70. Amazon has it. People listing it for $72.45 cart only, and then like $100 with
With stuff.
the stuff. So that's pretty crazy.
I don't even. Doesn't look like there are any. Oh, here we go. Final Fantasy 2 Super NES, $42.99. Buy it now.
Yeah, so that's
actually less
more
than I thought it would
expensive.
be.
That's more expensive than it was at the time, but it's still
Right. $48.99.
it's in the realm of possibility.
Best offer. Yeah. Yeah, but like, I mean, if you want the box and the manual, which again I don't really care about, but a lot of this stuff.
Do not, not even a bit.
Cart only Chrono Trigger, $125. So that's
Yep.
more
Well,
than it
Chrono Trigger
was.
is always
That's more than it
expensive.
was last time I looked at it, though. Just last year when Joe and I were playing Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like box
maybe like
copies
60
were
or
like
something.
box copies were like 125, but holy shit, man!
I thought Virtual Console would honestly have a way bigger impact on the cost of a lot of these games, and it did not have the impact.
People don't want the game; they want the thing.
They want the thing to put on their shelf, which I guess is why people pay for the boxes. Like I don't think I've ever really understood the mentality of collecting cart games in boxes when they don't even like fit in the cases properly. Like I never saved any of the boxes from my Super Nintendo games. I got rid of them all. I have the games.
I have a friend, the friend that I did the Street Fighter 2 crossover, same name, different game with. That dude, if he gets a game that has a box and manual, he will sell the box and manual like on eBay, because he like just is not interested in having that shit at all.
I should have kept that copy of Mega Man X3 that I sold, because that's going for well over $200 now.
Wow.
Isn't that insane? And that game's not
not very good.
I sold mine for like $170, and I feel like I got ripped off. Yeah, I hate that game. Sucks.
It's
Yeah,
bad.
that game, it's not very good.
I agree.
It's almost
sucks
with
is
with
probably
box is
up to
going for
I
almost
don't think it's
$500.
fun. Like I don't want to play it.
I don't know if they're actually selling it or not, but that's still ridiculous. Whoever bought that copy for me got a great deal.
Apparently. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. And so I think it's just, once people, people of a certain age reach a certain age and they have disposable income and they want to go back or they want to
it all
start,
away.
then yeah, they just. I mean, I will say this: I cannot think of a game that I've paid over $100 for.
I've never paid over retail price for a video game.
I could think of a game I paid over $100 for. It was Rock Band.
Right, but that was retail price.
Yes, exactly.
That was also with a bunch of plastic shit.
It sure was.
And I just threw all my plastic shit away about a month and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah, felt real good. Well, my drums barely worked, and I still have a guitar. I still have my guitar here.
If they're junk, that's different.
Guitar, but yeah, we wore those out. So
I mean, it's hard to say what.
I don't think I'm ever going to use them again either. So
when you say like retail, like if I'm talking about an NES game and I buy it now, like am I adjusting for inflation when I talk about like did I pay over retail or not, or that's hard territory.
I guess I've never bought a used game that cost more than it would cost retail.
Orders confirmed on the move.
Yeah. I paid, I think, $80 for my copy of Snatcher, which was like, my God, good luck finding one. Mine doesn't have a manual, but still, you still wouldn't find one for. I saw one at MagFest, and it was like 300 and something for Snatcher.
Stupid.
And Snatcher would have cost almost that much when it was new.
It was 50 or 60, and that's in $1994 or whatever. So. And also it came with a bunch of other shit. Like it's hard to say because I paid $80 because I wanted the Snatcher, but it came with a stack of Genesis carts as well because this was back when eBay was like that, and you could do shit like that. So it came
with stuff.
Right. It was basically some woman was like, I want, because when I looked at her eBay shop, it was all like sewing supplies and like shit like that. Like she just must have found this stack of games in her attic or something and been like, I want to get rid of these.
I wish I'd
use my best.
I wish I'd kept more of that stuff because then I could sell it all. Now it's like all the boxes are in such rough shape that I don't really think it's probably most of the games.
It probably doesn't matter, honestly. It probably doesn't matter for a lot of them. It depends.
The fact that I cut a lot of the characters out of character instruction manual to make a really awesome binder when I was in 7th grade.
Sounds pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome. Although it
still have the binder?
I think so. I think it's still in the attic someplace in the garage. That was the one I was going to try and find for the Keep Talking Nobody Explodes thing.
Yes.
I still believe it's up there someplace.
Nice. Yeah, so I don't know. I kind of twitch out when it gets up to when I get up to that triple digits level. That's where I kind of go, is this really worth it? And
no, it's not. It's definitely not. Especially because almost all of those games you can buy for $5 to $10 on some digital download service. Right. So if you just want to play the game, then it's not. But if you're into collecting that stuff, then I guess go for it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like I want a copy of Super Metroid.
But just think of all the drugs you could buy for that much money.
I know.
Even if you're not going to use them, it's a better investment.
Right. Well, the thing is, and the thing that I think there are probably a lot of people speculating on old games because it's kind of a thing now.
Yeah,
I think that bubble is going to burst at some point.
I was just
like
going to
the
say
baseball card thing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, because there was a time in the early '90s when it seemed like where everybody was like just buying huge stacks of baseball and football and basketball cards because that one Hannes Wagner card sold for a few $100,000 or whatever.
He does have a pretty cool name.
He does.
Honus
Wagner, man.
But here's the thing about Honus Wagner. He was a baseball player in like the 19-teens
right.
or whatever, and like so that card is
actually very
hard
rare.
to find.
Extraordinarily rare, right? And so it was the same thing with comic books too, right? Remember they DC printed how many issues of the issue where Superman dies?
Right.
And now it's not where like you can go on eBay and get one for like $3 because like they printed so many of them, it's not worth it anymore. Like people were like, I'm gonna buy 10 issues because this is gonna be worth so much money.
Right.
That happens now, dude. People bought that shitty fucking game from the Ninja Gaiden guy for Wii U.
Oh yeah.
Devil's Third or whatever.
Devil's Third, yeah, because they're like,
and then,
this is
and because it got a super short run, so there were people buying 10 copies and putting them on eBay for $90 a piece, and then they did a second print run. Like, and I'm glad because fuck those people. Like,
hey, but that first run, man, that's going to be extra valuable.
Moving to Overwatch.
First run, Devil's Third. They only made like 60,000 of those.
just in case you'll be able to tell in some way.
Yeah.
And because everyone knew the game was shitty, no one would open them, so most of those were probably still shrink wrapped.
Probably.
I wish-
Some people I've seen say it's not as bad as everybody else says it
We've
is.
secured a civilian
I'm sort of
contact.
morbidly curious. Like I might get it from GameFly just to see.
I watched the Giant Bomb Quick Look, and that game looked real fucking rough. That did not look like a game that I was interested in playing.
How did it take so long to come out? Like, I remember that game got announced. There was a time when I just assumed it was canceled
That's affirmative.
because it had been so long. Since
From what I saw, it probably should have been. Or it should have been released. If it had been released like 6 years ago, it may have been a passable character action game. But compared to the Bayonettas and the DMCs of the world, it just doesn't hang with any of those games. I mean, it was like it looked more boring than Devil May Cry 4, which yeah, and Devil May Cry 4 I mean has a fantastic battle system. It just doesn't give you a game in which there's any point in actually using it. So anyway, I don't know. I wish that I could believe that I have like all these Xbox and PlayStation 2 and GameCube games, whatever. I just don't ever see that being the case.
I mean, some are. Yeah, some games. There are PS2 games that are worth money.
My copy of Cubivore has gone up considerably in price since my brother got it.
Moving to Overwatch.
If you have any really
holy
rare...
shit, Cubivore is like $130 with the instruction manual on the box.
If you have any really rare GameCube or PS2 or original Xbox games, they might eventually get kind of valuable. You know, once the nostalgia population ages up enough for those to be the systems that they want.
Maybe I
can
could see
happen in Super
GameCube.
Nintendo.
I don't know if it's going to happen with PlayStation 2.
We're at
but-
SNES right now, so you're gonna have to wait about 15 years, and then you know.
Yeah.
maybe-
Dark
Hey,
Cloud
man.
2 is almost $100, even though that just came out digitally on PlayStation 4. So
Wasn't it only like 7 years between the N64 launch and the GameCube launch?
Less than that. It was.
Well, okay, 10 years, I
5.
guess. If you go from SNES launch to GameCube launch, I guess we're talking 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. 91 to 2001.
So, you know, patience.
I guess some of these I don't see like my copy of Left 4 Dead ever being worth
Understood. Moving out.
No, not Left 4 Dead, because that game sold millions. I mean, literally
or
millions.
Dark Souls, or I don't like. There's nothing on Xbox 360 that I think will ever be in that category. Maybe 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, because that game only exists in that ecosystem and will be legendary in a weird way 20 years from now.
I think that there are a few that can make it, but it's not going to be the good games. It's going to be the ones that were just really hard to find and were judged interesting enough by people that they have cachet.
Let's do this.
Well,
Whatever
anything
those
that
wind up
gets like a small run, like a JRPGs, you know, maybe Blue Dragon or I don't know.
I think Blue Dragon probably got a pretty big run.
Yeah, I suppose because Microsoft published it.
Even
Ian Gillan is in Blue Dragon.
Even Xenoblade Chronicles is done. Like I bought that new, and then I sold it used for like $2, and I paid for it, and even that's come down in price to more reasonable because it's the digital version, or there's a digital and
There's a 3DS
cartridge version.
And can't you buy it on Wii U? Like
maybe
download the full game.
Maybe.
Probably, I'm not sure. I could look. I could look right now if you want me to.
Not a big deal.
We've gone far enough down this hole.
Yeah.
Right.
Besides, I haven't even gotten a chance to talk about my brand new Vita, which is
Oh, you got a Vita.
actually not brand new at all.
I said, are you playing some stuff on there?
I actually am playing some stuff on that. So
What are you playing on the Vita that's like pushing the buttons? What motivated you to buy a Vita?
Well, that's an interesting question, and looking back on it, I don't know if I have a really good answer for you. I think the first issue is that I've kind of done with my 3DS. Like, there's nothing on the 3DS at this point that I'm really looking forward to, and I've played all the games that are out that I'm interested in.
Have you played Devil Survivor 2 yet?
I haven't. If that goes on
one more
sale at
thing
some
that
point,
you really should play for.
That's a good game. I'm pretty sure I'd like to play it. I like the first one.
The second one is Orders of the Command.
I don't know how.
Fine.
Yeah. Oh, it's way better. Everything except for the story maybe isn't quite as good, but almost every single battle in that game has a different twist on the mechanics, and it just makes for a very exciting one of those, because usually you sort of get bogged down into doing the same things over and over and over again.
And did you miss this guy any more than you wanted?
Yeah, I'm watching you like whiff and whiff and whiff and whiff. It's pretty ugly.
Yeah, of course that guy just got injured. Sure.
There's a lot of
my dudes just missed this 12-foot tall mud man.
There's a lot of very unique battles in that game. And actually, I wanted to I've tried to play that Fire Emblem game that came out on 3DS a couple of years ago, and just like the idea of slogging through all those super boring battles that are all kind of the same in that game just don't appeal after playing Devil Survivor. Kind of ruined that for me. So.
No, I'm interested, but it is also like a 40-50 hour RPG, and those are a little harder for me to justify.
Yeah.
So the thing with the Vita is, so my first thought was with the Vita was that I've been wanting for a while now to get one just to have it for original PlayStation games, because I like playing them on my PSP, and I just thought, bigger, nicer screen. I own a lot of PS1 classics on PSN, and I figured that there will be times when I'll want to go back to them. And I'm kind of afraid that the Vita is going to become a really hard to find thing at some point, because it was never dropped in price, and I think at some point they're just going to
sold like shit, didn't it?
There aren't there are a couple million of them out there, but they seem to have stopped producing PlayStation 3s entirely, and I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happens to the Vita, which never really got a price drop ever, and so I'm afraid it's just going to become hard to grab. So I saw a decent deal on one used. That came with a good-sized memory card too, and then those things cost a fortune. So I figured that.
Are they still really?
Oh yeah,
they still cost a goddamn
$40. $40 for a 16 gig. Holy shit!
Yeah, I want to get one for my PSP because the one I have in there is really small, and every time I'm like, I can't spend this much money on a fucking 16 gig memory card.
You can get
ridiculous.
some. There are bootleg ones that work in PlayStation.
Yeah, but I don't think that anyone ever bothered with the Vita to make bootleg ones.
Yes.
Are they the same? I thought they were the same.
No. The Vita ones are unique.
Yes.
Nothing else in the world uses those except for the Vita, the PlayStation TV.
Yeah. Well, to be fair to Sony, people did crack the PSP wide open in a way that made them extremely paranoid.
But was that because of the memory card?
No, not really. But
so
it was because the firmware was easy to crack.
Yeah. And as far as I'm aware, that's not really the case with the Vita.
I literally cannot remember the last time I turned my PS.
Aside from having PS1 classics, I actually have a couple of classic RPGs on PSP that I haven't gotten around to. Is it Tactics Ogre? Yeah.
Tactics Ogre or Battle Ogre?
I think it's Tactics Ogre.
You're thinking of the one that's like Final Fantasy.
That's the PlayStation
Tactics?
one.
Yes,
the
PlayStation one. It was the PlayStation game that was ported to the PSP.
Are you talking about
Tactics Ogre? That's Tactics Ogre.
Which I bought on sale and have been wanting to play for forever and have not gotten around to, but I figured if I ever do, nice big screen, why not?
That's the re-release, the Let Us Claim Together edition.
I don't remember it having a. Yes,
it's probably the game's okay. It's like an inferior Final Fantasy.
What did you expect?
Well, that Final Fantasy Tactics is real good.
Yeah.
So maybe a less good version of that is still worth.
When I went back to Tactics Ogre, I did not enjoy it as much as I did the first time I went through it. But
well, we'll see. But so the other thing is that I actually have Vita games, and part of this is by accident. Part of this is because I bought games for the PS3 that have crossplay. And so I got Sound Shapes and Hohokam, and they're both crossplay, so I have them on the Vita. And it turns out Sound Shapes is a really sweet portable game.
Okay, I can see that.
Have you played that one?
I haven't played it, but I've seen it.
Scanning.
Well, all right. I don't know if I guess a lot of it is just the looking and the listening and stuff. But yeah, Sound Shapes it's a really fun, cool game, and it reminds me of Frequency a little bit, because as you go across the screen, there's this bar that swipes across the screen, Lumines style, and as you collect the items in the game that you're supposed to collect, each one adds a sound to the screen that you're on, and so it kind of just builds as you're moving your way across the screen. which reminds me of playing Frequency and having, like, you know, as you light up the different tracks and how the song kind of puts itself together. And it looks great, and the music is really cool. You know, like there's stuff by Beck on there. Well, Dead Mouse, if you care about that.
Cool. Yeah.
The Beck tracks are really good. So I can get behind
Mike,
those.
Hambone179 says in the chat, you don't want to play Pokemon Red and Blue again on your 3DS?
Nope, not really. Pokemon games are too slow. I like the idea, but I could never actually enjoy playing them because they just take forever.
I have not played a Pokemon game since Pokemon Blue, and I get the sense that there haven't exactly been like real strides except there's more Pokemon, right? But like
there's a Bulbasaur.
I'm pretty sure that they've sped
there was
them up.
Pokemon Blue.
I know.
You know that other than like there's more monsters now, like I don't get the sense that there's been any real
so many that won't even fit in my pocket.
That's probably an oversimplification. I think there have been some changes, but they're still too slow. Like I tried the ones on the DS, I think, and I was just like, nope, this is still not a thing that I'm having fun with. It just takes forever. No, I'm a little down on the 3DS. I think it never lived up to the pedigree of the DS, which is, you know, hard to do because that system was amazing.
I don't know. You know what? That game had a Link Between Worlds.
Yeah,
and that was
more
than
than
enough
Land.
It was fine.
Justification for me to own one.
Yeah, Link Between Worlds is fantastic.
You're right. The Etrian Odyssey stuff on that wasn't as good as the DS ones.
And
Persona Q was kind of a letdown. Like I feel like most of the stuff I played on 3DS, I was a little bit disappointed by.
Like I like Mario 3D World, but
if 3D Land was the
3D Land. Sorry, I like 3D Land, but I've been coming off I've been playing a lot of the Galaxy games these days, and like, come on, it's not up to that level, you know. It's true. It's better than any portable Mario game has the right to be, but it's still not the best.
No, but that's not a fair. I mean, is that a fair bar to hold it to? Be the best Mario game, or else.
Well, I just don't see why the portable ones have to be less good. It's like everyone's like, it's pretty good for a portable game. Like,
I think it's pretty good for any 3D. I think as a 3D Mario game, I think it was very good just in general. I mean, maybe not as good as Galaxy 2, but like,
I would put it underneath the two Galaxies in Mario 64.
But above Sunshine.
I haven't played Sunshine.
I would definitely put it above Sunshine. I've actually been meaning to give Sunshine a second chance. But that's another one of those games that hasn't really come down in price, weirdly. Like, it's still like $30 or $40. Like,
borrow my copy if you want.
Okay. Well, if you come here for WrestleMania, you can bring it.
I'm trying to remember. I can't even remember if I played that or not.
Jesus, look at my poor team.
Anyway, fuck, whatever. You know what they really need to do, what they should have done for any of the various Nintendo handheld consoles is put out Super Mario 3-2 or Super Mario World 3, and just that's what I want. That's what my heart desires.
So they released Super Mario Advance, whichever one that's Super Mario 3 on the Virtual Console. For I think
which one? See, that's so fucking stupid. Why can't I buy that for my 3DS where I'd actually want to?
Don't ask, man.
I'm not. Maybe you can, but I'm not sure. But what I was going to say is really cool is they included all the e-reader levels.
Okay.
But the problem with that version is it has a crop down screen size, right?
It does. So
it's like, why don't they just release Super Mario 3 with those levels?
They have. Oh, I think that would be.
But that's only on the Wii, though, right? Or is that? Can you get that on a handheld?
Super Mario regular, like NES Super Mario 3, you can get on the 3DS and on the Wii U.
Okay.
But there's no cross-buy because Nintendo are money-grubbing motherfuckers.
Yeah, I really hope that they're going to change that.
Is that
new network stuff?
Is it that they're greedy, or is it that they're just really bad at their infrastructure?
I think they just don't understand.
We'd still be half buried in the sand.
I just don't think they. I think it would be hard, and they don't really care. So they're just not.
Yes, they are like parents.
Yeah. So anyway, have you actually played anything on your Vita?
Yeah, I played Sunshine. I played all of it.
Okay.
I've only had it for like a bit, so I think that man's bad. And I've been playing Mega Man X4, although I think the shoulder buttons on the Vita might be a little mushy because I'm using the shoulder button to dash, and I'm having a bit of a hard time with that. Not that I'm an expert at Mega Man X4, but it's a real sweet piece of hardware. Like, it's really sad.
Screen is really nice.
The thing about it is, like, I just felt like there were never. I mean, so I get why you got it, Mike, especially since, if I'm not mistaken, you play games on your commute. Is that right?
Sometimes on the way home. I walk to work, so I don't play in the morning. But
yeah, but my PS1 classics I mostly play on my PS3, but I could play them on my regular PSP if I was so inclined. And they're just like, for me, there just weren't enough exclusives on the Vita that I wanted to play. That I was like, oh, that's an attractive proposition.
Yeah, there ain't a lot of clues.
Like Gravity Rush, and I think that's finally getting a PS4 port at some point.
And also, from what I've heard, it's not that great. So.
I have that one. It was 80 cents a couple months ago. So even when I didn't have, I bought it even though I didn't have a Vita, because I was just like, maybe someday I'll have a Vita.
The deal is too good to pass up.
I have it on my PlayStation 3 as part of my 1-year PlayStation Plus subscription. So if I ever go back to that, I could play it if I bought a Vita.
Wait, there is a PS3 version?
No, it just is downloaded. It's on my PlayStation 3 hard drive.
Gotcha.
So it's definitely a bit of a niche box, because there's no reason why you need to get one. There's like nothing you can get on it that you can't get elsewhere, but there's a lot of stuff that I think plays really well on it that is really fun to have on it, like a lot of PC indie games that you can play on your Vita portably. And I'm really looking forward actually to getting Darkest Dungeon on the Vita, because I think that's going to be a really good portable game.
Yep. I was going to mention that.
Or like
I almost bought one as a portable Splunky machine when I was Splunky.
Or like the Binding of Isaac Rebirth is on there. A whole bunch of really good PC indie games, which like a lot of them I already own on the
Legacy.
PC. Yeah, that would probably be a pretty good portable game. I think that the flaws of Rogue Legacy would not be as apparent if I was only playing it for 20 minutes at a time.
Or you can just burn through it in about 12 hours in a single weekend, and it's amazing.
So Hambone179 is in the chat again, and he says, the best thing about Nintendo systems is always the games. If they licensed them out, there would be no need for Nintendo consoles. Which obviously is why, that's the thing.
People have been saying that since the GameCube came out.
Right, people have been saying that for a while. And I mean,
probably
that's always
since N64.
N64. And I mean, that's why Nintendo, I don't think, will ever go third party, right? Because they are not a subsidiary of a larger tech company, and they like having full control and full sway over their ecosystem. And I'm, again, really excited to see what the hell is going on with the NX, or whatever they end up actually calling it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be. I hope that at least, it sounds like the portable version of it is going to launch late this year in Japan, but not whatever the kind of home version of it is. So we'll have.
The sense I got was that they were one and the same. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm still expecting it to basically be a handheld that has a dock that you stick it on.
Yeah.
Plug it into your TV with the dock or something.
So do I need? But are they saying like you're going to need to buy the dock separately?
I guess so. Or at least that it'll be an option to buy it separately for people who just want the handheld version. Which I think that's fine. Like I don't see any problem with that. People who don't care about the home functionality to get it cheaper.
I agree. I do so much of my gaming on a television. Like the amount of portable gaming I do is, and when I do play portable games, it's almost always at home.
I do that too. I love playing portable games in bed, and actually Hohokum is a pretty cool chill out game to play when you're in bed.
Like I
push that long mover, son.
Totally.
I have a friend who lives in like Cheverly or wherever the hell he lives out in Maryland that I watch.
Lives in a car?
With. Not Chevy, Cheverly, and or wherever it is that he lives, Aquin or someplace like way like I have to take the metro all the way to the end of the line that I live on, and I hang out with him to watch pay-per-view. So like on Sunday when I went to go watch Fastlane, I like played a shitload of Retro Game Challenge 2 on the train because I had just bought it and like I knew I was going to be on this long train ride. But that's pretty odd. Like usually, and then like all I've played of it since then has just been at home. So I mean, I guess, and that just leads to me more often than not booting up one of the systems that's connected to my television because I'm at home and I'm like, well, I'm going to play this thing on my TV. So I don't know. That's just how it ends up going for me. But
I've made a number of
I pretty much play everything on my monitor these days. I don't even turn. Or if I play like I got that Wii U to play Mario Maker.
The aliens aren't.
And I play that on the gamepad while laying in bed. It's basically become a portable system that I play while I'm laying down. Yeah. I'm still having just played through Link Between Worlds again. I'm debating whether or not, because I had planned on just buying it and playing it for a little while and then getting rid of it. But after playing Link Between Worlds, I'm like, I'm more excited for that new Zelda game than I feel like I should be, and I'm debating whether or not that I should keep that Wii U to play it or get rid of it before they announce the NX and the Wii U's become worthless.
At the very least, it can't be worse than Skyward Sword.
I think it totally could be. It could be more boring than Skyward. It could be like Twilight Princess.
I like Twilight Princess a fuckload more than I like Skyward Sword.
Nah, both of those games are incredibly boring. Especially given, you get Ocarina of Time, and then you get Majora's Mask, and then the big step back, I feel like, to Twilight Princess, and then the GameCube one. Well, I was gonna say, then from Majora's Mask to Wind Waker to Twilight Princess, and then Skyward Sword. Like, those two games just feel like a huge step back from where they were with that series a decade ago.
See, I'm still mystified at why people like the Wind Waker so much. That one bored the shit out of me. I thought that was way more boring than Twilight Princess.
Excuse me for a second, but plasma rifles!
Yeah.
But not as boring as Skyward Sword, which was the most boring. Like, holy shit, fuck that game.
That game had some potential too, but
it did.
It's a fucking chore.
Yep.
Did you play Twilight Princess on GameCube or Wii?
Wii.
I always thought maybe if I'd played the GameCube version and not had to deal with the awful motion control stuff, then maybe it would have been more palatable or something, but I just couldn't.
Okay, I'm going to need your guys' help for a second here. My best ranger has been given a nickname, and the nickname he was given is Cougar. I'm thinking we may need to change that.
Mellencamp?
Yep. Take the words right out of my mouth.
Or John Cougar, maybe?
Or Melon Farmer?
So what you're saying is that, in fact, I just need to change his name.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Alright, I can go with that.
Change his name to John Mellencamp.
Will do.
Or he could change his nickname to Melon Farmer.
It's Mellen, right? Mel-N.
I think so.
I'm not changing his nationality, though.
Joe and I are huge John Cougar Mellencamp.
Yep, you got us.
Let me tell you a little story.
I hate that song so fucking much. Man.
Maybe I may be out of John Mellencamp songs. Anyway.
John Mellencamp is like shitty Bruce Springsteen, and I don't like Bruce Springsteen, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so it's we're creeping up on 11:15. I think I'm gonna bail because I have some stuff to watch for some podcasts that we're recording later this week. A bunch of wrestling.
Did you watch Shane's? Well, I guess we could say this for the actual podcast. Did you see Shane come back?
I have not yet. I heard about it, and I watched like a clip from the WWE YouTube account, which just like showed him come out, but I haven't actually watched.
It's kind of worth it. I don't know. It's really weird.
I'm surprised that you watched Raw. That's actually shocking.
I downloaded it from Pirate Bay and watched it after the fact because I think Shane. I don't know how people watch Raw every week. It's unthinkable to me that anybody would sit down and watch that show. Even his background noise for 3 hours seems like way too much.
Yep.
Also, Super Hot comes out tomorrow. So.
Oh my god, that's tomorrow.
Yeah. Fuck everything.
Yes. I'm so happy.
Speaking of wrestling podcast nonsense, your brother is joining us?
Not this time, but hopefully maybe sometime soon.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I will talk to you on Friday. When did you? Speaking of wrestling, also, did you want to do that before Kill All Movies or after? Maybe just push to Saturday.
I don't care. Either way is probably fine for me. So, what time are we doing? 9:30.
9:30 our time. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to start at like 7:30 or 8, if you think we can get it done in an hour and a half.
Probably. I'll get back to you for sure on that. I'll email you. But I'll talk to you gentlemen later. Have a good night. And everybody who's watching, thanks for watching.
Night,
We
Joe.
do this every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, Joe.
Bye.
Bye.
To Joe. I mean, are we sticking around, Eric? What's your
I don't
deal?
care. I can hang out for a little bit longer if you want to finish. Did you just start?
I just started a new mission.
All right. You want to finish that up, and then we'll call it a thing.
Sure. We'll do a supply raid here. See if we can get myself some Illyrium, some alien alloys.
Yeah, I can't believe Super Hot's coming out.
Yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be so good.
I hope so.
I saw on Twitter. Apparently, there's a web ad for Super Hot, and it only animates when you scroll the page.
Of course. What is it?
I like.
This doesn't even look like there's not even a price for it on the Steam store.
No.
Nope.
Oh man.
This game will unlock in approximately
super
60
expensive.
hours. I can't. How can they have a game that will be unlocked in 16 hours that's not for sale yet?
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's super weird.
It's not super hot.
Maybe let me look at their website and see what that has to say.
All right, so we got a crashed
15
van
bucks for
over
that?
here. If it's $15, I think I will buy it immediately.
Yeah, I think for same.
If it's 20, I will think about it a little. Of course, if it's 15 American, it's going to be like 18 Canadian, but that's probably still doable. God, there's so many games coming out right now that I care about. It's really weird.
What else?
Well, I mean, Darkest Dungeon just came out, and I'm
right.
really excited to try that at some point.
I played that 20 hours a year ago, so I kind of forgot about that having just come out. But yeah.
Except, of course, now I think I'm going to wait for it to come out on Vita, so it's actually going to be a couple months before I get my hands on it.
That's fine. I like that game a whole lot, and that seems like a really good. I wish I could play it on my Vita or whatever.
On anyone's Vita. The Witness.
Right.
Thing you might have heard about.
Yeah, I like that game a bunch.
What else has been? Oh, I mean, certainly this Devil Dagger showed up out of nowhere, and seems like something that I'd kind of like to sink a few hours into. Except that I'll clear that's not a game that you play with a controller, from what I can tell.
I mean, it's so fast. I can't imagine playing it with a controller. But think about playing Quake with a controller. Bunny hopping.
I don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah, like that just doesn't seem.
But I don't have a good place to play a mouse and keyboard shooter right now because my office PC is dead.
Right.
And I don't have a very good mouse either. Like I don't have a good situation for using a wired mouse, so I'm always wireless, and those things don't track as fast.
So I bought this weird ergonomic Windows mouse when my last mouse died, and it's like really nice, really comfortable mouse, but it sucks for playing first-person shooters.
I bet. I thought you had like a Razer or something.
No, I had a forget what it was. It was a Logitech gaming something. But, my dog came barreling through and ripped the cord out, and he shorted out the cable. It was a wired mouse. So this is now I have this wireless thing. It's actually, like I said, it works. It's pretty good, but it's a little bit. It just doesn't feel quite right for shooters because hand position is weird and stuff. But
yeah,
I don't
know. It's fine. Maybe that's why I can't get above 70 seconds in that game.
Could be. Certainly. Well, I mean, certainly, if there was ever a game that would make you want to have a really fast tracking mouse, I think that would be it.
And I guess you're still knee deep in XCOM, right? So.
Well, I mean, I finished the campaign once, and I restarted on the same difficulty, but on Iron Man. But I think I'm going to really roll it this time. I haven't lost a single soldier yet. Whereas in my other one, I showed you my wall of shame. I lost maybe 40 or 50 soldiers before I finished my first campaign. So there's clearly a difference now that I know how things work.
Right.
So I could kind of step away from this at any time. I'm still having fun, and I do want to see how quickly I can plow through the campaign now that I know what's what.
Right.
The upgrades I want and how the enemies behave and stuff like that. But no, I could move away. Something really compelling came up. I found myself eyeing the Hearts of Stone download page a couple times recently.
Are you gonna get that, or are you gonna get the whole pack?
Well, I mean, I don't know, or maybe for the time being, neither. I'm not sure.
Well, I just meant if you're gonna do that, you might as well get the whole.
Get the download pass.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I wonder when that comes out. I guess they haven't really said yet when that's due out. I was gonna say you could wait until I'll tell you if it's any good or not when it comes out.
Are you going to play it as soon as it drops?
Oh yeah, I'm ready for more Witcher 3 stuff. I'm ready to be dropped back in there. I almost started a new game of that last
New
weekend.
game of The Witcher?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just
That's a
want
little
to
crazy.
wander around in that world. I've kind of done everything that's kind of worth doing at this point. There's like a couple of armor upgrades that I haven't found, and those are the only quests that are left that I actually enjoy. Like everything else is like Gwent and the bar brawls. But I played a lot of The Witcher 3. Like,
It's dead.
I know you did, and recently, which is why I'm surprised that. Wow, that was a good shot. I don't know if you saw that, but my sniper 90-degree turn away from the enemy, and she still managed to knock him out.
I don't think I've caught up yet.
Well, I'm in the middle of a spring night ambush, and my sniper has this pretty cool ability, which gives her basically like a cone of death, where for one turn, anything that moves inside that cone, she'll take a reaction shot at.
Is it the one where she's like, her back is facing towards the enemy and she manages to shoot him?
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
This ambush actually went off really well.
Yeah, you just
one,
ripped those guys apart. That
got
guy
one
was
snake
shooting
man
them.
left.
Yeah.
He's almost dead. Or he will be, as you will see soon. I have learned the hard way, never try to use a sword attack on the snake guys. They dodge them every time.
How are the
And then
swords? How is the melee stuff?
So
does it work pretty well? Or?
it's alright. The issue with the sword attack is that it puts your dude in a real bad place if things go wrong. And even if you kill, like it's almost guaranteed to hit, so that's really nice sometimes to have that really safe damage. But even if you do pull off the hit, you're going to be left in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes just the act of running all that way up will put you in a spot where you activate another pod of enemies, and that's a real bad time. So you got to use it carefully. What I like is that you can give them an ability where they do a sword attack on anyone who gets next to them. So any enemy that runs up to them to hit them up close, you get kind of like a free 5 or so damage too. Why can't I use my combat protocol? Nobody see the snake.
Seems like that one guy should be able to see the snake.
Someone can tell he's there.
I can see him.
Yeah,
he's right there.
Great. Well, can you use the combat protocol? Whatever. I'll just fucking grenade him. Life's too short. Anyway, I've already got my gear drop for this mission, so I don't think I'll lose anything by blowing this guy up with a grenade. Except for one grenade. Here comes John Cougar from Elkhorn Camp with a grenade kill. What was I talking about? I wanted to say that it's interesting that this real resurgence in super old school mouse and keyboard shooters, because Devil Daggers is only the first of several. Like there's Paranautical Activity, that game that got kicked off Steam because they were like making death threats to Gabe Newell. And there's Tower of Guns, and I played both of those, and I don't like either of them. So it's, I mean, something about Devil Daggers looks a bit more appealing to me. I'm not sure that I would actually like really be interested in it for a long time.
Is Tower of Guns actually out?
I don't know. I got it through some bundle. I've had it for a long time.
Came out.
But who knows what that means.
Didn't care for that. I think I own that too, but I never played it, so maybe I won't bother.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you liked it more than I do. But I don't know. There's something about the way those games move and the way the weapons feel that I was kind of not really into.
Yeah, Devil Daggers definitely for me nails it. I mean, it's different because I don't think Quake had anything that like dropped over, like the daggers drop over distance, like nothing that you do.
Actually,
so well, Quake had the grenade.
The nail gun was very much like that. Actually.
Was it? Okay. I couldn't remember if that was like that or if it was. I guess everything in Quake. I mean, like even if you were sniping people, you still kind of had to lead your shots and stuff, right?
Probably a little bit. I was not very. I've never been a good sniper in first-person shooters, so I
think the rail. Sure. I think that was one of the things about the railgun because that was instant. Anyway, regardless of any of that, that game feels really good compared to any of those other things. I kind of wish that there was more to it, but then for $5, what do you expect? I guess.
Yeah, and it's nice to have that purity of vision. Like maybe they could expand upon that and make Devil Dagger Adventure or something where there's like a whole campaign, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I can respect them just doing one thing and trying to make it good.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have the same appeal. You gonna get Quantum Break now that that's on PC?
Probably not. I've heard the system specs are real killer.
Yeah, I don't even know if I could play that. I was kind of excited when I heard that was coming to PC, but I'm not going to pay full price for it.
I would definitely wait for the reviews. I mean, I like Remedy's style. I love Max Payne, and I enjoyed Alan Wake, but I enjoyed Alan Wake more for the crazy story, like the interstitial stuff, like the radio shows and the TV shows and things like that. I'm not all that excited about actually just playing it for the sake of.
I know. I was just looking at like
mechanics.
this list of upcoming games to see what else was. But Dark Souls is like a month away, and I find myself thinking about that a lot, even though I don't really know why necessarily.
You're not excited, but you are excited?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same place I was for Zelda with that. Although it's different just because I've played so much Dark Souls games over the last 3 years that. And I tried to play, so I picked up that Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin thing when it was on sale, because I got it for like $10 or whatever. And man, the remix Dark Souls 2 is total garbage. It's much worse than OG Dark Souls, yeah.
Damn, drag.
There's like these super hard guys that look like giant hippopotamuses, bipedal hippopotamuses. And so they take one of those and they like just drop one of them like in the very start, like at the very start of the game, like the very first area that you go to, for no discernible reason as far as I can tell.
I've heard that they put them in there just to gate you, just to see like, yeah, no, you're not going this way until you get a lot stronger.
Yeah, but that's the first area that you're supposed to go to. It's like the first area. Yeah, you kind of have to go through that. There's a different way you can go, but like the bosses on that path are much more difficult than the bosses in the forest area where they drop that hippo. And so it just seems like, so like imagine if they took like one of the Black Knights in Dark Souls and just put it like right outside the Firelink Shrine.
Well, there is one like 5 minutes later than that.
Yeah, but it's down a hidden hallway that you don't have to go through.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
But
so,
you do.
But this hippopotamus is right on the main path, like right next to the bonfire. And so, I'm just not looking forward to having a bunch of that kind of stuff pop up in that game, because that game is already kind of thin in some areas as far as the level design goes or the enemy placement goes. And so the idea that they just took some really difficult enemies and like smeared them throughout the rest of the game doesn't sound that appealing to me. And I actually I've said like a million times before that I like Dark Souls 2 a lot more than most people. It's really like the boss design is kind of the big disappointment in a lot of areas, because there's a lot of bosses in that game where they just sort of said like, well, here's a boss that's kind of like the ones in Dark Souls, only there's 2 of them.
Yeah, I've heard that about that game.
Or here's the same boss, but now there's some mobs that will bother you or whatever. But for the most part, it didn't really make the game that much more difficult. A lot of people hated it just because they made the dexterity builds a lot shittier. But
as much as I love Dark Souls, which is a lot, I think that at this point there's just too many of those games. Like, I have Demon Souls, and I still think that I'm going to go back to that. Actually, my dad was working on my PS3, trying to see if I could bring the volume of the fan down, cleared a bunch of gunk, and reapplied some thermal paste on it.
Yeah.
So if that actually worked, then maybe I'll play some Demon Souls at some point. But like from all the shit that I've heard talked about Dark Souls 2, it sounds like it's not really an essential game. When I could potentially play Dark Souls 3, or if I ever get a PS4, maybe Bloodborne or something. It kind of sounds like DS2 is the one you have the least reason to go back to.
The most skippable of them, I would say. I probably agree.
Because there's a lot of these games now, and there's no way that I'm going to send I spent like 75 hours into Dark Souls, and that's not going to happen.
There's too much.
6 of these games.
They need to pump the brakes on that. I think after Dark Souls 3 for a while.
I am with you. Oh, you, Thomas.
Although I would totally understand if they don't do that, just because
they're making money.
From Software actually has a hit on their hands, and so I can't really blame them if they actually want to milk it for all that it's worth, so that way they can make their next weird fucking whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they want to bring King's Field back or whatever oddball shit that they want to make after Dark Souls. But it would actually just be nice if they kind of could get away and make the next weird thing, even if it's something that I don't want to play, like an Armored Core game or whatever.
What is with these 13% shots my sniper's getting? It's
I don't know.
the worst sniper I've ever had.
That guy should pick up that chainsaw.
I didn't notice the chainsaw.
Yeah, your grenadier guy is standing right next to a chainsaw. The only thing, actually, the thing about Quantum Break coming to PCs that actually got me kind of excited is if Microsoft is looking at the PC as a platform for their exclusive games, maybe that new Gears of War comes out on PC.
Could be.
I don't even know if I would want to play that, or if it's going to be more like Gears of War Judgment, then I don't want to play it, but...
Is it by the same... No, that People Can Fly made Judgment, right?
No, this is a different internal Microsoft team since What's-Her-Faces I don't think have anything to do with it at all.
What's-Her-Faces?
Yeah.
The people that can fly?
No, the people that make the Unreal Engine. The Gears 4 developers.
Yeah. They don't do a whole lot of game anything at this point, do they? Well, I guess they got Fortnite.
Right, Fortnite. Well, they have that esports fucking first-person MOBA bullshit thing that's coming up too.
Oh, what is that called?
Yeah, I don't know.
The what's her call it's?
Yeah, it's like a simple one-name something that I can't remember the name of. Yeah, Gears of War 4 is being made by a Microsoft studio called The Coalition, which was created
nice.
Basically to make Gears of War games. But,
hence the name. Oh, they were Black Tusk before, I think.
Yeah, I think what's his face from that company that Rod Ferguson left. What the hell was the name of the company that made Epic Games? Rod Ferguson left Epic to join.
Oh, you mean Epic Mega Games?
Yeah.
Creators of Jazz Jackrabbit.
Right, exactly. But Rod Ferguson is heading up the Coalition, so that gives me some hope. Since he and Cliff Bleszinski were like the two main guys that were responsible for the Gears games in the first place.
Zap that Uton. Zap.
It's my favorite 1950s game show. Zap that Muton.
Dang, one Muton left. Oh, and who's that?
Missed the target.
Is that that's okay. It's a fuel tank health meter that I'm seeing.
Yeah, news for Xbox 360 owners on April 1st. The Coalition's esports, cinematics, and weapons producer, Ali Hens, confirmed that Gears of War 4 will not be available for the Xbox 360. That's on the Wikipedia page for Gears of War 4. So
are you feeling real surprised?
That's the important shit, I guess. Anyway.
Alright, Devil. I think this might be the last enemy on this map.
Super hot. No pre-orders. Buy it, play it. But it doesn't say
Alright.
what the price is going to be on their website.
I guess it's going to be a real small download.
I guess. I don't know. Pre-order price at $14, according to this ChristianPost.com.
Thanks, guys. Alright, cool.
Hostiles are down and the
This
area
level
is
is a wrap.
secure.
My one demo guy got
Mission
wounded,
accomplished.
unfortunately, because I left him out in the open trying to take out that Uton. That's the way it goes, man. So yeah, long story short, there's a lot of games out there to be playing, and I'm just playing more XCOM, I guess. I didn't even use Bob Ross today.
I'm very disappointed. I wanted to hear the Bob Ross outro. There's probably just got to be
I'm sure it is. Although I think it's a recent mod.
If we keep this
If you ever play this, you got to get the Stop
Wasting
Wasting My Time mod and install it right away.
What's that one do?
Just the game has all these weird pauses where, like, every time you do anything at the end of your turn, like at the end of your action, it's like, okay, we're gonna spend like 2 seconds just staring at the map for no reason. And so that just takes them out. And whenever you're doing time missions, which is most of them, your guy central is always popping up with like, you gotta hurry, there's only a little bit of time left. It's like, I fucking know there's only a little bit of time left because there's a number in the corner and it goes down every round. I can see that thing is driving the whole mission. I didn't forget about it.
Risk getting inside Advent. Enough for me to believe
So
he's
that
loyal
shuts
to
him up
our
a little
cause.
bit and saves a
There
lot of
may
time.
still
Oh,
be a
and
few
when you're
skeptics
zapping
in the
people with your
movement,
little
but
little
got
flying
bigger
robot
things to
thing
worry
called the
about than a
Gremlin,
man
it
on the
travels
screen.
about 8 times faster with this mod installed, and it's so great. I'm so happy. I can't believe I played as much as I did without installing it. Live and learn, man. Live and learn. Man, I just got a big whack of Illyrium and alien alloys,
Hello, Commander.
which means that I can research and build like the best armor and weapons, and I'm gonna have a real kick-ass team in short order here. I can build beam pistols if I wanted.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm really ready to drop money on beam pistols. They're limited to just your snipers.
Oh.
All right, well, I think I'm gonna call it a day. Uh, Eric, thank you for hanging out and talking about all the stuff.
Yeah. I don't even remember what we talked about, but it was good.
Well,
I'm
go
glad
back
I
and
got to
watch the
see some more
archive.
XCOM too. It means I don't have to play it for a little while.
Yeah, wait until they patched it and
Is
the
it
price comes
better
down a
yet?
bit.
Have they patched any of the stuff that was wrong with it, or?
Well, the bugs are pretty intermittent. I mean, they're frequent. People have a lot of bugs, but I don't think it's not like you can point to one thing that always breaks the game. So I
Yeah.
think they've done like one medium patch and one super tiny patch since I got it. So I don't know how much they've improved the stability. I haven't had a lot of issues to begin with.
Mm.
Like I had one thing in my previous the mission where everyone died. One thing that happened on that mission was that I tried to shoot at one enemy and my guy shot at a completely different enemy for some reason. Uh, but that would not have been the deciding factor in everyone dying or not in that mission.
Okay.
So I can't really blame my loss on that. And I've had bugs where it's like you can't click on the menu. So like your guy levels up and you want to choose ability A or B, and you can't choose B, but it's not a big deal because you can quit the game and come back and then it'll work. So it's just annoying.
Okay.
But I think people have had these big game breaking bugs, and it's been a real kind of pain in the ass. But
Yeah.
that's kind of what you sign up for anytime you play a game at release at this point.
That's so sad.
It's very sad, and it's a real good reason to do what I normally do and not buy games until they're
Out for a
older
while.
and cheaper.
Yeah.
You get them half off like 3 months later in most cases.
Unless it's a Witness.
Why
I'm
is that
glad
game
I-
never going to go on
I
sale?
don't.
Or
It probably will at some point, but I'm just really glad that I played that before. It sort of was absorbed into the greater consciousness of the internet.
yeah, I mean,
Also, you should check out this GIF of Austin Walker killing a zebra with his car door in Far Cry 2, which is a real good sum up of what that game is all about.
well, maybe I will do that.
All right.
But for now, it's time for bed. So we'll see you next week on the stick after dark.
Yeah.